Your girl look a mess today. So I always use a filter just because I'm extra, but I'm definitely using a filter this time because y'all don't want to see how I really look right about now without a filter. So filter it is. My lashes ain't done. It is what it is. So we are going to talk about today really just getting on top of your goals. And there's 5 steps. I'm going to also share with y'all some. I might have lost y'all. All right, I'm going to share my screen because I have something that I am going to give to people for free. It is a free sort of guide, training, whatever you want to call it. Once I remember how to do this, y'all, I done forgot how to do this. But anyway, so we're going to talk today. My name is Fatima Barnes. If you are catching the replay, which most of y'all do, that's okay. What is the cost of you not taking action is the first question that I really want you guys to think about. The longer you delay and procrastinate things that you say are important to you, I want you to think about what is the cost of that. Because sometimes we associate cost with just finances, with just money. And it's so much deeper than that. And so I asked this question because I want you guys to think about it. What is the cost of you not taking action? And that's the question that I want to start off with because I need y'all to get it, okay? I need y'all to get it because it's that important. I'm trying to figure out how to share this doggone screen because I wanted to share with y'all so y'all can see the new freebie I created. But it's only going to be available to those who are in my live training tomorrow night. So if you have not secured your spot in my live training tomorrow, you need to secure your spot because they are the only people who are going to get access to this new freebie that I have. They're the only ones who are going to be able to have that. So I need for you to be in there, okay? I need for you to be in there. I cannot figure out how to share my screen. I did it last week. And I don't know what I'm doing this time. But anyway, that is the biggest thing. So let me just get into it because I'm wasting time. I really don't have a lot of time to waste today. But anyway, if you're going to be in the free training tomorrow night, this is going to be key because I'm going to give you guys full access to this free lesson, this free guide on exactly how to get on top of your goals. And so procrastinating costs you money. Every single time you procrastinate, you lose money because time is very valuable and it is also money. When they say time is money, it is not a lie. I truly feel like my time is money. I don't like my time wasted. I want to be effective. I want to do things well. I want to plan things out as best I can because I don't have time to waste. I truly don't have time to waste. And so once you get into that mindset, you realize that you really don't have time to waste. And if you, I truly believe that I don't make wishes. I don't. I set goals. Because if you don't set clear goals, you're just wishing. And wishing ain't going to get you nowhere. And wishing you're not going to meet your goals. And in wishing you're not going to get to the next level. And you're going to stay stuck. And I want you to really think about when you stay stuck, how is that impacting you in this cycle? Okay? Because staying stuck leaves you in a cycle of constant same thing over and over again. And we all know what the definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. And so many people have these big expectations, but they don't have the work ethic, the goal setting, and all of these things to match that. And then sometimes they feel like they do, but when this stuff gets really hard and it gets difficult and it requires you to stretch and stretch and stretch and stretch beyond what is comfortable for you, most people give up because it's very uncomfortable and because it requires you to sacrifice a lot. And so what I want you guys to know is that your actions are tied directly to what you truly believe and what you truly make a priority. And if something is not a priority to you, and if something is not a true priority to you, it is not going to get done. And it is not going to happen. And so you have to ask yourself, are you making your goals a priority? Are your goals a real priority for you? Because if your actions haven't reflected that, then you're in trouble, right? Like, it's just a wish. It's just a wish. I truly believe it. I don't make wishes. I'm going to set a goal. And if it takes me 5 years, 10 years, 6 years, 2 years, it's going to get done. But sometimes people have certain goals that you really could be done with in like 6 to 8 months that you've procrastinated, and it's been 6 years and you haven't done anything different. And that is what's costing you. It's costing the life that you say that you want. It's costing the dreams that you say you want to achieve. It's costing, whatever you feel like your goal is. I've heard it all. It's costing you building that generational wealth, because building generational wealth, it's literally called generational wealth for a reason. Sometimes it's going to take some generations. And if you're the first to do it in your generation, like myself, that means you got to work extra. You got a lot to do, right? Building generational wealth doesn't happen overnight, but I hear it so much and people are literally not working towards those goals. If you say you want to be able to quit your job, you gotta take some action behind that. You gotta create a plan, an exit strategy. If you say that your goal is to be able to go on vacation more, have more family, whatever that is for you, if you do not take it seriously, you're not going to get there. If you do not make it a priority, if you're not willing to sacrifice time, money, energy, it is not going to happen. So whatever it is, whatever it is that you want to do, you cannot sit on it. It's really insulting to the potential that you have. It's really insulting to the vision that you were given to bring into fruition. Every time you sit on things and you have these big expectations of I want this, I want that, everybody's saying what they want and what the life it is that they want, but actually taking those steps toward that, it's a different ballgame. And that's why everybody don't make it, and that's why everybody won't make it. Because everybody can't keep pushing through and staying committed to whatever it is that they want. When it requires you to drop money you don't want to drop. When it requires you to spend time you don't want to spend. When it requires you to put energy into it where you feel like nothing is coming out of it yet. You feel like it's a losing battle and you're not seeing the results yet. But understanding that when you plant the seed, it's not the same day that you see the fruit. Even a year later, even 2 years later, some trees takes years and years and years before they actually bear fruit. And so you got to stop expecting to plant seeds or expecting to not. Can y'all hear me now? I don't know why people call me. We can't expect to be able to we're planting these seeds, or we're not planting seeds, and then we're expecting to see the results for whatever it is that we planted or we didn't plant. Or we say, hey, I haven't planted a seed at all, but I'm expecting this orange tree to give me oranges. And it doesn't work that way. You have to plant the seeds. What you do now will reflect a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now. The seeds that you plant now is for the future, not for today. So you've got to be doing the right things and doing them now daily so that one day they bear fruit. But you can't give up when you don't see it happening right away. But the problem is, even for some people that are planting seeds, they're not giving it sunlight, energy, attention. They're not giving it its money and all of these different things. And they are just expecting it to be a fruit tree. So I'm going to let me get off my spiel. I'm going to get into 5 steps that you need to take to get on top of your goals today. Now, I have created a entire little freebie. It's not an ebook. It is just a actual worksheet of some of the things that I've done with my clients. Clients like Destiny that I've worked with, who was able to quit her job within 6 months of working with me because she applied these steps and was able to quit her job and get her own salon space when that was on her 5-year plan. And she was able to do it in 6 months. Myself have used these steps and I was able to quit my job in 8 months as a result of this. And actually in 6 months when I finally decided to actually write it down and make it plain. Okay, and so having those steps, these steps that I'm about to give you, plays a part of it, and that's how we've been able to get these results, because it's about being very clear on what that is. And so Destiny was able to tell me Fatima, if it wasn't for you, I know I wouldn't have been this far ahead on my goals. Now, she did the work. I just gave her the outline. So that is the same outline that I'm about to share with you now as far as the steps. But if you want the full freebie, let me turn my camera around into my computer. Let me let y'all see, because I couldn't share my screen. That ain't it. Okay, so I have created it's actually a workbook. It's not just no ebook full of information. It's actionable steps that you are going to have to take toward your goals. And if you are, let me turn the camera back around on me now. Let me get it back on me. Okay, if you are someone who struggles with that and struggles with sticking to your goals, if you join my free training by clicking that link in my bio, if you join that with me tomorrow night, you will get access to that document and actually be able to get in there and do the work. And that is just a very, very small taste of what it's like with my clients that work with me, because they get the full shebang. But I put my all into this still. It's still great information. And it is the workbook too was a video lesson that I give my clients as a bonus. It's not in the full curriculum, but it is a bonus because goal setting is very important, and it affects your bottom line if you don't get really good at that, because you can't shoot your business. You can't operate by shooting in the dark. You can't operate by winging it in your business. You have to set clear goals, plans, and expectations and what you want to see so that you can work toward that. Winging it in your business, if you're trying to get to the next level, just won't do. Okay? It just won't do. All right, so if you join tomorrow night, if you're not registered, go ahead and register so we can get that. Now let's get into these 5 steps, all right? So step number 1, the first step, it seems like obvious, but it's one of those things that people do not do. Step number 1 is you need to get extremely clear, specific, extremely crystal clear about what the goal is you're looking to achieve, okay? Whatever that is, have a clear goal in mind. Think about it. Whatever it is, do you want to quit your job? Do you want to finally be able to quit your job and replace your income with your in your business, in your job? You got to be clear about what that looks like. What do I mean? You got to know the destination so that you know the direction that you're going to take. If you don't have a clear destination of where you're going, you're just driving around hoping that you're going to get somewhere, right? And it just doesn't work that way. Having a clear destination in mind so that you can understand when you're on track. And if you're not on track, then you're able to then determine, okay, I'm off track. I need to get back on track because this is where I need to go. Okay? So if you have not really sat there and thought about what it is that you're trying to achieve, but think about it very, 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 very clearly. I'm talking about specific. I'm talking about numbers. I'm talking about the way it looks, the way it smells, what you want to taste like. You got to be so specific. If you're not, you're going to not meet your goals because you don't know what it is that you want. What I've seen is most people don't feel like that's an important step, so they don't take it, or they just are very vague with their goals, so they don't quantify them. They don't actually write it down. They don't actually visualize it. They're not really super clear on what they want, and so they wonder why their business is not also growing, because you're also not very super clear in whatever goal that it is that you have for your business, because you're also not very clear what goal that you have in your life as well. So the first part of goal setting is getting very crystal clear of what it is that you want. Put a 1 in the chat and let me know if that's making sense, and if you're tracking, and if you're feeling me, and that lets me know, because we're about to move on to step 2. All right, so step number 2 is you have to assess. You have to assess your current situation, okay? I didn't say use your current situation and let it keep you stuck and let it hinder you. I'm talking about actually assess your current situation from an honest standpoint. Now, my biggest piece of insight that I can give about when you have to assess your current situation is I want you to take a look at your current situation as if you were looking at a friend or someone else outside of yourself. What would you tell them? What would you say to them? How would you talk to them? Because sometimes when it comes to our own stuff, we can easily, get a little blind. We can have some blind spots. And so you got to learn as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, or as anybody in general who is emotionally intelligent for sure, you have to learn how to be very self-aware and be honest with yourself about yourself, right? And so when you're setting goals and you've gotten really clear on what that is, you have to know what is your current barriers, what's currently stopping you, what's currently helping you, what are those limitations, but also what are the things that are going to work for you. You have to be extremely crystal clear about that as well. So be honest with yourself, because if you can't be real and honest with yourself, then you ain't going to get to where you're trying to go, because you're going to be having to tweak and adjust and tweak and adjust. And let me tell you, you're going to keep going through the lessons until you get it. Trust me. Because let me tell you, the way that God gonna be on you, or whatever you say, listen, you ain't gonna be able to escape it. You're gonna keep going through the same things until you get the lesson. And so that's why you gotta learn to be really honest with yourself and assess your situation. And a part of that is taking accountability for what led you, or what has led you into the current situation that you're in. And if you can't be honest about that, again, look at your situation as if you were a third party and this was a friend that was asking you to look at her situation and assess it, or his situation. Until you can get that good, you're going to struggle. Here you go. He's so loud, y'all. My neighbor's so loud. But anyway. So be honest about that. So the biggest thing that I see as a barrier for people about being able to assess their current situation is that they do not feel like it matters. They think, I have this goal, I should be all right. And they don't understand the importance of how, actually that's probably one of the most important steps outside of step one, which is getting very, very crystal clear. That's one of the most important things that you need to know, because if we use the example that I used earlier, where if you don't know your destination, you won't know the direction you need to take. When you assess, you need to know if the car gonna even make it there. Do the car need an oil change to get to where I'm trying to go? Do the car need fuel? Does it need me to add some stuff? How many snacks I need to buy on the road? Like, you need to assess that, what I need to pack, so I can make sure I'm on the right track to my destination. And that's how you have to look at your goals. And so when you're setting these goals, if you can't be real with yourself about your current situation, and say I can't be real with myself, if we use the example of driving to your destination, and say I ignore all of these different things, and I don't look at the fact that my car actually is on the brink of the motor going out, but I just ignored it. Or my engine light is on and I assume I'm going to drive 3,000 miles across the country and I did not evaluate that. Then you're going to struggle. Can you email this to us? So if you are on my list and you join tonight's training, you'll get it. But if you don't have a beauty brand, I'll just share it with you anyway. But I can't email it to you. Just send me your email. But so that's step 2. Because I know you don't have a beauty brand. But if not, you still need to join my training tonight. Now, that's number 2. You got to know exactly where you're going. Okay? If you don't know exactly where you're going, how are you going to get there, and you don't assess your current situation? Step 3, you need an action plan. Let me know if I'm tracking. Put a 1 in the chat if it's making sense. If it's making sense, let me know. We need an action plan. Okay? Creating an action plan that's based on what you now know and what you've assessed. That is, what do I need to add? What do I need to subtract? What are those small actionable steps that I can take today despite my situation? Okay? Because maybe right now you feel like I don't have the funds to do that. You got to shift your perspective. If I waited until I had what I felt like I needed to get started or to move or to do things, I would never achieve any goals. You're going to always feel like you're lacking something. So you have to shift your mindset. Your mindset cannot be set on, I don't have this. If you don't have something based off what you've assessed and evaluated, you need to start taking action to add or subtract some things out of your life, or in whatever's in the way, whatever this goal is. Some things that you can do to add, some things that you can do to subtract. You only will know that based off what you've assessed, okay? But you got to create an action plan and actually start doing that. And so what I would recommend that you guys do is, for instance, if we go back to this example, You can hear me in the chat. Okay, I just put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Hopefully that helps because I don't know why people calling me. But anyway, step four. Once you've done step 3, you've created your action plan. Let me give you an example of what the action plan will look like for you. Once you know where the car is going, you've assessed what the car needs and what it doesn't need, and now you're creating an action plan. I need you to not look at your current circumstances, okay? What does that mean? That means I need for you to actually say, hey, I want to get here. I found out I need a motor. I found out I need to add this, subtract this. What can I do today? I don't have the funds, but what can I do today to get this car ready to go? Well, after what I've assessed, I feel like I found out I need more money for this. I need to get rid of this. What's 3 things I can do today? Maybe I need to sign up and take some extra hours at work to make sure that I can afford to fix this particular problem so that I can get to my destination. Maybe I need to subtract a few things. Whatever the case may be, whatever it is, you have to be very, very specific, and you have to make an action plan. You can do what's 3 things you can do today that doesn't even require you to use money towards that. You can research somewhere to go to get the motor fixed. You could at least research. You can get a quote. Now I know what to work toward. Now I know what to move. Now I know how to maneuver. Now I know the honest assessment, and I can create actionable steps, okay? I want to get here. Now I know that maybe I can go ahead and at least prepare to get a GPS to make sure I'm going to get there with no problems in case my phone dies. Maybe I need to get a GPS. And now I know. That is what it looks like to create an action plan. That's something I can do today. If you can't afford to do it just yet with your money, what do? You go price GPSs out. You go look at how much it's going to cost you so that you can then create your plan accordingly. That's what that is, right? So it's about being able to be honest and assess it, but come up with actionable steps that you can do right now. And before you know it, you'll be able to do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more every day, okay? So that is step number 3. Step number 4 is budget, okay? Which is much like what I just said. Any goal, you need to set a budget. You need to know your numbers. You need to know what is it going to be required of you, and you need to stick to that. And that is the hardest part. The biggest issue that I see is most people mentally when they hear the word budget, they automatically think restriction, and your mindset tells me that I got to be able to do this, I got to do, and that is what's hindering you from getting to where you want to go and meeting the goals that you say you want to meet, because you're not willing to sacrifice temporarily to get to where you're trying to go. So if I know my number said based off my action plan that I need to get a GPS, and I priced it out and it said this, I need to figure out how to make that fit in my budget. So I need to do the work to do that, right? I need to be able to either maneuver some things to make it happen. And I'll tell you, for instance, when I was getting ready to quit my job, I didn't get my nails done. I didn't get my hair done. I just said I'm going to wear the wigs that I got in my closet. I stopped getting my lashes done. I stopped doing this. Whatever I got to do to make my goal, I started adding this, subtracting this to make it happen. But if you're worried about that temporary feeling of being uncomfortable and making some adjustments and cutting out some things and adding some things that you might not want to add, you're not going to meet your goals, especially the bigger the goals are, because the longer that it takes you to get there, the more it's going to require you to get there, right? It takes more gas for me to drive from Atlanta to California than it is for me to drive from Atlanta to Memphis, okay? It requires 2 different things of me. So the bigger your goals, the more it requires of you, the more you got to have, the more you got resources you got to have. But stop looking at your current situation and allowing it to limit you, to make you feel like you can't do it because you don't have the funds, you don't have this. Start figuring out what that number is and working toward that, and a budget is going to help you do that, and you have to stick to it, and you have to set boundaries with yourself to make it happen. And that's the issue that most people I see, is that they don't do that. All right. And then lastly, I need for you to sign up for my free training to make sure that you're in there tomorrow night. But step 5 is evaluate and adjust. So when you have a clear plan and you're on track to meet your goals, you have to make sure that you know when and how to pivot and adjust when necessary. And you got to hold yourself accountable, okay? So what does that look like if we're taking this road trip in the car toward our goal? We already talked about what that looks like the rest of the way, right? You got to have gas money, you got to have this, you got to have that in a budget. But at some point, you got to say, at what point does, when the gas get low, do we need to stop and fill up on the way here on this road trip? Is it when we get to a half a tank? Is it when we get to a quarter of a tank? What does that look like? At what point are you going to plan to okay, am I prepared if a tire blows out on the way there? I'm going to have to adjust. My destination is still the same. Okay? The destination is still the same. That hasn't changed. I'm still getting there. But I done had a blowout. And now I got to stop. And I got to tweak. And I got to pivot. And the plans done changed. But the destination hasn't changed. But I have to be willing to move and maneuver and adjust and think and problem solve. And I got to check, okay, if we're going to drive this far, if we're going to drive 3,000 miles all the way to California, all right, at what point are we going to stop and go get the car looked at and make sure the oil is still good, because that's a long trip. Okay, so you have to have time to evaluate and make sure that you're on the right track. At what point are we going to make sure that the car is still rolling to the same way, right? After the tire done blew out and we done figured out a way to stop and get that fixed, because I was prepared, I had AAA, right? Now I got to get back on track to where we're going. How do I make sure that even though we had to take a U-turn, maybe there was a bad accident and it required a detour, it's not going to be a straight shot to where you're trying to go. So you might as well prepare for that mentally now. You're going to have to pivot, adjust, tweak, evaluate, move forward, but you got to schedule time to hold yourself accountable to do that, to make sure. Because if you're just driving and you haven't checked to make sure you're still on the right track, you might be trying to get to California on this road trip, but you might look up and you might end up in Illinois when you shouldn't have, because you wasn't paying attention or you didn't track to make sure you were still on the right track. So what does that look like for you to evaluate and adjust to make sure that you are on top of your goals? And this takes discipline. It takes hard work. So that's just a preview of kind of what's in the new tracker. I call it the Beauty Business Freedom Tracker. It will be available specifically to those who will be in my live training tonight. They will get access to this free guide to help you learn to stay on top of your goals. Like I said, I've had clients who have used it and have been able to achieve amazing major things in short amount of times. I have used these steps every time I have a goal. I use these steps. I don't plan or make moves without it. Your ability to not be able to effectively set and stick to your goals is impacting your business, okay? It is impacting your business, and it is impacting you from being able to make decisions like a real CEO. A lot of people call themselves CEO without embodying what that actually really means, okay? So you got to get good at determining these steps. You have to, whatever that goal is. I have had people who have used this goal to be able to pay for my services and then have been able to take this and quit their jobs and do this and do that, right? Whatever that looks like for you. I've used it myself, but it's a little bit more detailed than what we were able to go today. So if you haven't signed up for my free training, make sure you sign up in the training, and you will get access to this, and you will get access to so many other things if you join the training. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be lit. So make sure you click the link in my bio and make sure you secure your spot. Make sure you secure your spot to that training. You do not want to miss that. And you will get access to the free guide that I showed you as well, where you can get in more details about it. But you have to take accountability for your goals, your actions. They're your responsibility. You have to have that. So I'm going to do a quick recap, and then I'm going to let y'all go. Step 1 was get really clear. Step 2 was assess your current situation from a bird's eye view. Step 3 is create an action plan. Step 4 is create a budget. Step 5 is you need to determine where you're going to evaluate and adjust. So if you've been watching long enough and you've caught through most of the live, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat and let me know if it was valuable to you. And if you want to get access to this guide, I will share it again with y'all so y'all can see. I'll show y'all the preview. It wouldn't let me share my screen. If you want to get access to this guide that walks you through and gives you those questions a little bit more in depth, a checklist and everything else like that, if you want to get access to that, you need to be my trainer tonight, okay? Tomorrow night at 7:00 p.m. and tear my my link in my bio up and go ahead and secure your spot. So I will see y'all next week or tomorrow night, depending on if you register for it. Y'all have a good one.